Hello, everybody. You've tuned into the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance. Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. I'm your host, Sergeant Rich Myers, with the Indiana State Police Public Information Office. And I got three guests with me today. We've got a whole studio full here. We got two guys in uniform, one and not, but just as important as the other one. Got Sergeant Mike Woods, the Assistant Commander of the Indiana State Police Recruit Academy. Mike, thanks for coming in again.
No problem.
Appreciate you being here. You're kind of busy right now. Got an academy going through.
Very much so.
Looking good?
Looking good.
Good deal. Sergeant Roosevelt Williams with the recruiting section of the Indiana State Police. You guys kind of work hand in hand here together, don't you?
A little bit. I kind of get him to the door, and he takes us from there.
You push him in, and he takes off with that.
Right.
All right. And then Troy Torrence, health specialist for the Indiana State Police. Troy's the guy that keeps us healthy and then make sure they understand what they need to do to get in the academy, right?
Yes, sir.
And make sure that we understand what we need to do to stay healthy as an Indiana State police officer. So you guys all work hand in hand, and it's something unique that is coming up that we're going to talk about here on the show and talk about our recruit academy and where we're at on that, and the health specialists, how they're involved with doing all of that. But first off, we're going to talk about an event that's coming up and the events that you guys attend to try and get people to come on board as recruits. Where do you guys start out at?
Right. We do several events throughout the year. We attend community events, church events. We'll be gearing up here for the fall semester for college and high schools, where we attend college fairs and job fairs. So we got tons of those events coming up here in August and September, leading into October. So tons of those community events and college career fairs. We'll also be attending military events. Sometimes they host job fairs at their weekly drills, so we'll attend those as well.
Roosevelt, do you find that it's becoming more, I'm not one to say difficult, but the jobs are becoming more where we're going to have to go out and search for these people, because it's becoming more difficult to find the people to be in our jobs, as all types of jobs.
Right. And with unemployment being low too, that kind of makes it a little bit more difficult too. But you know, there's still a good number of folks that want to be in law enforcement. So we kind of attend those affairs where they can have that professional contact with troopers and kind of ask those questions that they may not see on the website to ask.
Right, and just actually talk to somebody one-on-one and see where they're at and what they're doing and how they want to become involved in law enforcement.
Right.
So we've got something coming up here that's kind of unique. It's a PT workshop. Is that what I'm hearing?
Right. We have an information PT workshop. It's the first time we ever did it. We kind of had a meeting as a staff, kind of figure out how can we help guide those individuals to becoming troopers. And what we found is, you know, they may miss out on a written test and PT test. Doesn't mean that they're a bad person or not qualified, but maybe they just need some tips on how to be successful. So that informational PT workshop is geared towards, you know, kind of jump-starting that law enforcement career. So that's scheduled to occur, the first one here in Greenwood at the Greenwood Middle School, September 1st.
So what's going to take place at this?
Right. So to start at around 8 o'clock, we'll kind of check people in, kind of introduce ourselves, but we're going to kind of go through that selection process. So we're going to talk about the written test, how to prepare for the written test. We're going to talk about how to prepare for that PT test. And what and how you'll be scored and ranked in each one of those phases of that selection process. We'll briefly touch on the polygraph and background. We still have to maintain our integrity on our testing, so we'll briefly discuss on those things. And then towards the end of that seminar, we're going to go into PT, where our health specialists will kind of go over our protocols for each one of those physical abilities testing, and then we'll work out with the candidates as well.
And Troy, talking about the health specialists, are you finding that people are prepared when they come on board, or are they not prepared when they come on board?
Normally we find they're not necessarily fully prepared for it.
Right.
Even just the assessment test, they may train to the minimum because they see the standard from the academy to what to get into. So they come in and actually under some stress. It's a new experience for them to try out. Then they come in and actually fail the exam because they don't know the particulars, or they are just training to that very low standard of 25 push-ups or 29 sit-ups.
And this is a competition. People need to realize that that's the minimum, but you're going against a whole group of people. So anything above that is going to set the bar higher for you.
That's exactly the message going forward, that you're competing for a job. So you're doing a minimum standard. You may pass and move on to that oral interview, but it doesn't necessarily means that you'll move on to that polygraph examination. So if we have 400 people pass the PT and oral interview, we only allowed to send, maybe 300 to a polygraph. So we're going to take the top 300 that exceeded that written test, that exceeded well in a PT test as well.
And does that number, that information follow you throughout that job process?
Throughout the entire process to the superintendent's review, you scored and ranked amongst everybody else in that selection process from day one of that written test to the day the superintendent decided to select.
Troy, is there some information, some advice that you give these people? Hey, I'm looking at, and not only us, but I'm looking for a job, a career in law enforcement. What do I need? Do I need CrossFit? Do I need core? Do I need all? What are you telling people?
Biggest suggestion I make to most individuals if they reach out is find a program that works for them. Seek out a personal trainer if they've never trained. Find what those standards are, and then try to exceed them. Obviously, CrossFit's a great program. There's enough local gyms around that can handle that, but LA Fitness, regular gyms out there can also handle that from a training. If you just do it on your own, you may not understand the whole totality of what training is and how to involve to get your full body in shape from cardiorespiratory to your strength. So from cardiorespiratory being your 1.5 mile run, then your strength training just to get your push-ups and your sit-ups in through that testing. So,
but it's probably, and I'm sure it's probably something important that they do at least something they enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do it, right?
Right.
Exactly. I mean, what training program are you going to stick with is one that you like.
Right.
If you don't like it, you're not going to really stick to it. So finding something that you enjoy, but also some of the things you're not going to enjoy, but you're still going to have to do to maintain that fitness.
Right.
Go out and run. It may not be long distance, maybe short distance sprints, hill work, something different than just running miles and miles.
Is it true the aspect a partner helps you?
Yes. Training in a group, training with a partner, finding that little bit of camaraderie will help and also help encourage you when the tough times come in your training.
The event in Greenwood, what's your time on that? Are you going to be all day? How long is this going to last?
It's a 4-hour period, so we'll be there from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Okay. And does that include working out with the individuals that come in there?
Right. So we'll do the information portion shouldn't last no more than an hour, and then we'll try to transition to Troy here, and we'll kind of go over what's to expect in each one of those physical abilities testing that we do. In particular, the vertical test. A lot of folks have not done the vertical test before, so the opportunity to kind of see that test and do a demonstration of that test as well. So we kind of transition after that information session and lead the last 2-3 hours to kind of work out with the applicants.
Is there somewhere, do they have to register for this? Is this just a show-up event or what?
Right. So you must reserve your seat by emailing ISP recruiting at isp.in.gov, and once you send that email, then a recruiter will reach out and say, "Hey, your seat is reserved."
Okay.
So you must do that by August 24th.
As far as recruiting events, things that are coming up, things that you want to get out, where can people find out about this?
Social media. They can follow ISP Recruiting now on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. That's where we will push out all of our recruiting information, and to include our hiring process as well. So any information you want about ISP Recruiting, follow us on one of those social media sites.
So I know, and we're going to talk to Sergeant Wood here in just a second about the academy that's going on right now. What about future ISP Academy? Is there one in the books?
Right. We anticipate a hiring process early part of November. So the early part of November, we'll push out, again, on social media, hey, we're hiring, submit your application. But right now, you can submit your pre-application by going to that website, in.gov, ISP, career opportunities. You can put a pre-application in, and we'll notify you that way as well that we're hiring.
And that's the best way to stay informed. That what I tell people is to get your email in there, do that pre-app, and then you don't have to worry about it. You're going to be contacting them to let them know when that process starts.
We'll send an email out to everybody that submitted a pre-app, and then we'll also push out on our social media, and we'll meet with our public information officers as well to push it out.
Yeah, good deal. And also, while we're on the subject, you have application process going on right now, hiring process for motor carrier inspectors.
Right. So we're currently hiring for 7 motor carrier inspectors throughout the state. That application deadline is October 31st at 11:59 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time.
And you can go on our website again to find out more information about that. But just in a nutshell, they're civilian employees, but they enforce truck laws.
Right. So they'll be at one of our permanent scale houses. It'll be 2 at West Harrison, 2 at Terre Haute, 1 in Lowell, and 2 in Seymour.
Okay.
So at the scale house, the permanent scale house.
So they would be driving to a permanent location each and every day.
Right.
Doing inspections there and then going home. So good job for retiree somebody looking
Right.
to get into law enforcement or starting their career, we've got them young and old both on that process.
Through both of them. So it's an opportunity for them all. Excuse me.
Yep. Well, again, you're listening to the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance. Cops for Kids. We're speaking with Sergeant Mike Wood, Sergeant Roosevelt Williams, and Troy Torrence for the Indiana State Police. Mike, how's things going?
Good. 5 weeks in.
5 weeks in. How many left?
58.
58.
Yeah.
Have they seen the end of the light of the tunnel yet? Or?
None whatsoever. We've
There's not even a glimmer yet, is
right,
there?
we've accomplished a lot of hurdles in the short time that we've been there. They've passed criminal law. They've done their 2-on-1 controlled tactics, and they're currently sitting in traffic law class as we speak.
Excellent.
So they'll have that test tomorrow.
Excellent. So that's the big one.
Well, criminal law is bigger than traffic, but they both coincide very well.
Yeah,
together.
but I mean, after you get those two,
Yeah.
then you're kind of think, oh my gosh.
And then we go to the range and we start doing those psychomotor skills. So they'll have a little bit more fun than sitting in a classroom all day. But still, it's tedious.
Yeah. And but so tell us, things looking good for what we've got left there. You look strong candidates going through.
Yes. I think it was a strong class to start out with. They're gelling together, learning to work together and whatnot. But everybody passed criminal law, which is huge, and we're just moving right along.
We were talking before we went on the air. We've lost 5. Not bad. That's good. But what can people do to prepare the academy? If you see somebody coming in, what do you tell them that they need to do physically? We've talked about that. But I bet a mental part of it is a big aspect.
Absolutely. They coincide with each other, both mental and physical. And even breaking down the mental, preparing yourself for a cognitive assessment. I mean, you're taking tests. Criminal law is no easy class to take. It's over 80 hours worth of criminal law jammed in, and you got to take that test. Also, social skills is a huge one. I mean, because you're living in close quarters with 60 to 70 people, and you're with them from sun up to sundown. So we try to find leaders in that group, but to have a strong social skill is huge too. But all of that wrapped into being mentally strong. We've had strong physical candidates that mentally take it for granted that their physical skill carried them.
Right.
And then, but then we have strong mental people that struggled physically. So you just got to find that balance to be one of the good candidates.
So, what should they expect when they come through that door? Is this going to be something that they've never experienced before, or do you find that prior military is a little easier for those folks?
It can be. I mean, of course, military is such a broad spectrum that some people were special forces. They've been in academy that's pretty hard, and some of them, not to discredit any of them, right, but they're not as hard as some others. But we've had them, and some of them struggle and some of them don't. So I think it's a multitude of things, but it is very, probably for the majority of them, very hard or chaotic, to say the least.
Yeah, that's something that they've never. But again, and I'm assuming it's the same way when I went through. It's to build that team.
Right.
To all for one.
Well, and also we're instilling so much discipline on them because in 22 weeks or over 1,000 hours, and in a 14-week FTO program, they're going to find themselves at 3 o'clock in the morning somewhere in Indiana being challenged and to do the right thing at the right time for the right place.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we got about a minute left here, guys, so I want to make sure that we reiterate what's going to happen here. And this is in Greenwood, right?
Right. Excuse me. Right, the first one to be here in Greenwood. We're working on several other locations throughout the state. I know here soon we'll schedule one out for Fort Wayne area and also the Bedford area.
Okay,
and
so you're going to try north, central, and south.
Right. So then we're also going to try to hit northwest for those people in the northwest part of the state and Chicago area too. So we're working on 3 other locations to have completed before we even start our hiring process in November. So if you tune in to ISP Recruiting, that's where you'll get that information.
So ISP Recruiting, follow you on Facebook,
Instagram, and Twitter.
And Twitter. Find out all that information on. And what's this title? What's it called?
It's an informational PT workshop.
Informational PT workshop. Find out everything about the academy, how to do it, how to be informed, and also how to be ready for that physical part of the academy when it comes up.
Right.
All right. Guys, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you being here this morning. Good luck with that. Hope it works out. Good luck with the academy. Keep them going. Troy, thanks for keeping us healthy. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance. Cops for Kids. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll talk to you again next week on The Roadshow. The Roadshow is out.